So this is the second video I'm making here of my well pump project that I am putting 100% on solar and battery storage. So it took a little while longer than I hoped, but it's finally done. Let's go check it out. Now, my first video I did, I went through how to size and get the specs off your pump, your well pump, so you can pick the right inverter, see how many running watts you're running, what the surge amps are. You'll need those. That's critical information to make sure you size the inverter and your solar array properly. So I won't go over the details on how I got that. I will link, I'll put a card at the end of this video so you can watch that video. But I'll just briefly summarize how I did it. So using my multimeter, I got a surge amps of 36 amps at 240 volts. So I picked the 6000 XP solar inverter, which can surge up to 50 amps, which should be plenty for this project. The running watts on this thing came out to just under 1800 watts when that pump was running. So this 6000 XP inverter from EG4 that I'm using can do up to 6000 watts. So that gives me plenty of space to be able to add on or run some outlets in this building that you see behind me. Now the building isn't complete, as you can see. I still have one little add-on section I need to do that's going to go over this wellhead, but I've got it covered enough where I can install all the equipment so it's not going to get wet or damaged by the elements. So in the description of this video, I'm going to leave a link to where you can download all of the equipment I use, everything I use for the install. Solar panels, conduit, inverter, battery, I mean literally down to the conduit box. Everything I use is going to be in that PDF. You can download that for free. Again, go to the link in the description of this video for that. Now let's go do a walkthrough of exactly how this system works. So here's a summary of how this system works. So this well right here goes about 465 feet down to the ground. Water comes up out of that, drops in underground here and goes into these tanks. And there's 3 tanks here, each 3,000 gallons, hence 9,000 gallons of water storage. And the water goes from there over underneath the ground here over to that little blue pump back there, which is a pressure pump that pressurizes the water to all the houses on the property. This is just a bladder tank that was installed initially on the property. It's really not needed, but since it was here, we just decided to continue to use it since it does help with the pressurization of the water. Now, originally, grid power came from the ground right here into this little panel that you can see right there. Now, I just used Polaris connectors and attached all those. It looks like a bird's nest and it looks harder than what it actually is, but all I did was splice into all those wires and send them up this conduit over the ceiling there and drop them into my panel and transfer switch over there. So let's go check those out. So originally there were breakers inside this box, and those breakers controlled the motors for the well pump that you see right behind there and for this pressure pump that you can probably hear running right now. I just connected to those wires, to those motor wires and the grid wires, and sent them up this conduit here, attached to the ceiling right there, and then drops in, actually, and splits off right here. So the motor wires, the pump motor wires, all go through here and drop down into this electrical panel. The grid connection wires go through here and down into this transfer switch or bypass switch. So, and I've got it labeled here where if I'm in the up position, I'm in solar. So it's being powered by the 6000 XP in the battery. And it does still use the grid connection here as well for backup in case my batteries get below 20%, then the grid takes over. Or I can go to grid only or bypass. That means it just takes grid power and sends grid power straight into this breaker right here, which feeds this panel, which both motors for the pumps. This is for the well pump and this is for our pressure pump to pressurize the whole system. Most of you probably only have the well pump that pressurizes for you since you only have one house, but I had to add this one as well. These other breakers you see here are just outlets. I installed some outlets, lights, things like that in here to run off this solar system as well. And again, I'll have a PDF that you can download. There'll be a link to that in the description of this video that has all of this equipment I used, including the transfer switch here, the panel I used, all the equipment. But how it works is the grid power comes into the middle area right here. Now this is hot, so I got to be careful not to touch it, but it goes into the grid section here. And so when I pull this to the middle, everything is off. It's not sending it to the solar. It's not sending it to the 6000 XP inverter. And it's also not sending it to the panel. If I put it in the up position, then it sends power through the wires, through this little conduit here. It passes straight through through this conduit box and then pops straight up into where it says grid. I'm not sure if you can see grid, the red taped wire here and the black one there. That's the grid power. There's basically backup for my system if my batteries get below 20%, and you can set that on the app here for the EG4 6000 XP inverter. And then you'll see these two wires, which is, it says load back there. These two go down into the conduit box and also go through that pipe, and they pop in right here into where it says the solar breaker right there. So right now that is in the on position. That is what's powering this entire, all the bus bars there, powering up this panel. I do have a lockout switch for both of these, which I will also link to the lockout switch I used. You can't have these two on at the same time. If you do, you've got two different sources of power being pushed to the panel at the same time. Don't want to do that. That can cause major problems. So I have a lockout switch, and I also labeled it so when I pull the panel off, I still remember that that's solar and that's grid, and I don't want two power sources going at the same time. Now, if I pull the transfer switch down to the bottom here, which is grid bypass only, then the wires go straight from there right to grid. So if I had that shut off, I could click onto the grid and the grid would be powering it, and then I could literally remove this inverter if I wanted to and the battery and work on it, change it out, and not lose power in this pump house, which was my goal for that. You don't necessarily have to have that transfer switch. I mean, you don't even have to have a grid power. You could just use the inverter and battery only and then have a generator attached to it if your batteries get too low. So you could do that. But I already have grid power here, so why not use that as my backup? It is the cheapest form of backup power, at least here in Texas, where our rates are around 15 cents a kilowatt hour. So how this works is obviously the sun hits my solar panels there, and then the power actually goes underground through a 1-inch conduit all the way down here and then pops up into these boxes here. I'll have links to this equipment again on my PDF that you can download by clicking on the link in the description of this video. But it goes into here. Solar panel wires, both strings, so I have 2 strings, go into here, and this is my disconnect, so I can literally turn off from sending PV power through this box into the inverter on the other side of the wall there. Now I am probably going to add solar panels up on the roof here. I could probably put another 6. So then I'll drop those into here and then add a series connection. I'll basically intercept the solar panel wires coming into this box. So the solar panel wires come in from the other side of the wall, as I showed you. They pop up right into here, into the PV1. You can see PV1 positive, negative, PV2 positive, negative. That's where those go, and also a ground wire is connected to that ground terminal back there. And in that PDF, I'll have the exact size wire I used and link to it on the wire that I purchased. So the solar power comes into here, and then it converts that DC power to AC and sends it back out this breaker right here that says load into the electrical panel. It's pretty simple. And then my backup power comes in from the grid to here, just in case I don't have enough solar and battery. This battery here is 14.3 kilowatt hours. I have it to discharge down to 20% and then let the grid power take over from there. And then you've got your battery cables here, your positive, your negative. Those just go right through the conduit box there and connect on those lugs right there that say battery positive and battery negative. Then you've got your battery communication cable, because I do have this in closed loop communication with the battery. You don't have to do closed loop communication. You can use any 48 volt battery setup and put those onto here and just use voltage only for it to determine the state of charge. That is fine if you want to do that as well. So you don't have to use the EG4 battery with the EG4 inverter if you don't want to, if you already have existing batteries. So these are the control boxes that I mentioned. That was where the grid power was with all of the breakers. I just spliced into those using those Polaris connectors. This next box you see here is actually a timer that I only have the well pump running from 7 a.m. to about 5 p.m. when there's sun, because I've got enough water storage obviously over there. I don't want to run it at night where it drains my batteries. So I use just a simple pool pump 240 volt timer to make sure it only runs during the day when we have sun, or at least cloudy weather like it is today. I'm still producing enough to put a little bit of a charge on the battery. This is basically a disconnect right here for the pressure pump. This is basically the controller for the pressure pump that most of you probably don't have, which is this big blue one that you see down here. And then this is an EMP shield, which I'm still in the construction phase here. I'm going to move this over today onto the new panel over here and connect it on this double pole 20 amp breaker that you see right there. And that will protect this from surges, EMPs, God forbid we have one. And I'll have a link to that in the PDF as well. But that helps with any type of surge, so it protects all my equipment. Obviously this equipment is expensive, so if I can put something on there to protect it, I'm going to do it. And also in that PDF that you can download, I'll have a wiring schematic so you can basically see the wires and how they connect from the transfer switch to the panel, or the battery to the inverter to the panel, and the motors and all of that, because it is a little bit daunting when you just look at it like this. But if you look at that PDF and then kind of look at that while you're watching this video, it should make sense. Now, just on the logistics side of things, one person could do the install on this. I did have my father-in-law help me out, especially with the battery. It is pretty heavy. I just have it here on a couple blocks, but I think the battery is like over 300 pounds, so not too easy to roll around. But I put it on a standard little, dolly that you can move a fridge with, and that made it easy enough. Now let's go check out the solar panels, and you can see how I wired those in. So I go into detail in the first video I made on this, which I'll have a card to at the end of this video, so you can watch that. But I go into detail on the calculations, how I did a series calculation, the amps, the volts, a series connection. So this goes onto the first charge controller that you saw inside the 6000 XP inverter, and this row here is on the second charge controller. So how these are connected, basically it goes positive, negative, and then it goes positive to negative, positive to negative, positive to negative, all the way down to the end here. And then I send the negative all the way back, which is this line right here, all the way back into the ground. Actually goes underneath right here, kind of stubs up underneath that panel there, and then drops into here. So the positive and negative from the first PV array drops into this pipe, also with the PV positive and negative line from this, which is wired exactly the same as over there, and then drops into this 1-inch conduit and is buried 18 inches underground, which is code in my area here, and then pops up over there where I showed you into the control boxes. And here is the ground I use to ground all of these panels together. And then I send that ground also into the 6000 XP inverter, which connects to my main ground line that came into that first panel out of the ground that I showed you where all those Polaris connectors are. So let me show you quickly how I connected the solar panel ground wire to the actual panel. Code, you want to use number 6 bare copper right here that I'm going to use. And I'm going to use these little ground wire clamps that you can get on Amazon. I will link to those in that PDF that I'll be making with all the materials I use for this. I'll let you download for free. And I'm also going to be using these, the number 8 Tech 5 kind of metal screws. So I just pre-drill the solar panel where I'm going to put these on. I think I've already done one here. So I pre-drilled this hole, and then I took the rubber washer off since I really want it to be fully conductive, no rubber in between there. So I just unscrewed the washer and just screwed that right in. And then we will be laying the bare copper line right here, and it'll just run along the back of the panel right here. And then it will connect to the next one. And then it will connect to the next one. So you see I have one on every panel here. Here, I put them right in the middle of the panels basically, and then on the end one, which I'm not going to be continuing, so I just put it right on the edge here, and that will ground this panel. Now let me show you how to do that. So I pre-drill the solar panel. I use a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than the screws, the threads on the screw itself. And then I kind of go to the lower edge of the panel here and drill a hole in it. Just like that. And I took the rubber washer off, as you can see. As you can see, I line it up right there, and then I just screw it in with my impact drill. All right, you want it good and tight, but not so tight that it strips out. That's perfect. Now, I've had people in videos tell me this isn't going to hold. Well, I've got another ground mount on my the other side of my property, and I've had these in for now a little over 2 years. No issues at all. It's been great. And now we'll just continue to ground the rest of the panels, and then we'll pull the wire straight through. So now that we have all of our clamps on, I'm going to string this number 6 gauge bare copper wire. So the first thing you do is you're going to want to loosen up the little nut here, widen it out so you can get that in there. I will just be taking one end, putting it right in there, screwing that down, and then just laying it out all the way down the entire row of solar panels there. So here's what it looks like with a finished row. So from here, this is basically the end of it. I'm going to go with a ground wire coming out of this conduit here, and it's going to attach right there. It's going to go underground, attached to these panels over here. So we've got all of them grounded on one string, and then the main ground will be coming up out of this pipe right here that's going to ground them all to our ground that's closer to the pump house here. But here's how they look. So you can see the wire it's hanging off a little bit. Not sure if you can see, so I might throw, I don't know, maybe a couple more clamps on there just to keep it tighter onto the panels, but it'll do the job. So right near where our well pump is, we also have a house right behind here that we rent out just as a short-term rental, and it is fed from this panel here, which is right next to where our 6000 XP inverter is. So what I'm planning to do actually is put a little 50 amp RV plug right near this, probably on the backside or around here somewhere, and then I'm going to be able to power that house you saw behind me from my solar system here in case of a grid outage, because that house over there is on grid only. But what I'll do is end up putting a 50 amp double pole breaker right here, pop the wiring out the back using like an SO cord, and then just wrap it up on the back of the house there and leave it hanging. And if we lose power, I can just take that cord, plug it right in to the outlet I'll install over there on that other main panel for that house, and then I can power up that whole house on solar only. I don't know, there's some cool things you can do. If you put a panel this size on here, I've got a lot of space to do a lot of things. So that's the benefit of going with this panel, and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was a little over $100. So again, I'll have a link to that in the PDF that you can download. And I've been really impressed with the Wi-Fi dongle on this unit. I was wondering if I was going to have to put some sort of extender or run internet out to this pump house, but I did not need to. It is communicating just fine with the internet router that is actually inside that house that you see way over there. And that's probably about, if I had to guess, the router's about 200 feet away from this inverter, and I've had no issue with internet connectivity. So very impressed with that. Nice job, EG4. Well, hopefully this video made sense to you. I know it was a lot of technical stuff to kind of take in and wiring, but if you have any questions, go ahead and feel free to shoot them in the comments. But make sure to download that PDF. Again, go to the link in the description of the PDF. You can download it for free. That should probably help to make sense, at least of the wiring and how the wiring goes for this thing. But I've been running this system full time on this well for about a week now. It's ran flawlessly. So it's ran the well with no problem at all. It's also ran my pressure pump, which can wind up to about 2,000 to 3,000 watts. It's ran that with no problem at all. I've got outlets, I'm plugging in heaters, things like that. Again, it's ran flawlessly. And I've got about a little over 5,000 watts of solar panels here. That's overkill, which is why I decided to go ahead and I'll probably put that 50 amp outlet to power this house next to it, or at least power it partly when the grid goes down, because I do have a lot of spare power out here. But rather go big than go too small. So that's it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment. I love to hear your guys' feedback out there. So thanks a lot, everyone. See you in the next video.